Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. There's been some technical difficulty on my side. Arrangement... Luncheon with the old... Yeah, we're trying to figure out how it was this murder went about, and so I had to fix some things with my setup and my microphone and all that stuff. So it's not a horrible incident. It's just, yeah, disconnections and all that. The accused, first argument, right before my eyes. There's something I need to check here. Aha! That's what I was looking at. That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is... It's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what is it that prevents his inability to express itself? What's odd? Ugh. Rinosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Ah. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass in the glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? Minuity? I don't know. What possible difference did the presence of an absence of a glass make on the case? Minuity, that's what it is. Minuity, you say. Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took those 2 glasses on the table. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was all so terrifying, everything had happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. Ooh, you're rude. As I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered the lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. And who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in a state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young, and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small and handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady was very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning. But in the end, it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Oh my gosh, dudes. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. There's a deeper significance there. It's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire the gun, we can deduce that there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Alchi? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. Oh, is he the killer? I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately. Oh my god, you're withholding evidence, bro. This is not how you do it. You gotta submit. Never mind. I'm not a lawyer, but I know some stuff about law. This would be inadmissible at this point. Whatever. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through what to watch inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are at the height of fashion in London at the moment. Sure, the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ugh! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. It's my best distressed voice. Order! Order! Inspector Hoshinaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Actually, I don't know 100% about law stuff. I don't know if that would be exactly inadvisable or inadmissible, but I have a legal dictionary somewhere, but it's in my stuff packed up, and a few legal textbooks, so I don't know where they went, but I have to look it up. Think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print here just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion: that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? Oh, I hope that's not it. Shaha! I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat while the strong eat. Is he a samurai? I mean, I know that's the technical garb of the time, but like this is toward the end of the samurai. Wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. This would be like the 1860s, roughly, 1880s. In fact, you can chew upon your own to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about this last photograph, the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can continue. We can argue the trial. Hey, let me look at the photograph. What? Ah, that's something. It's a bull. Very well. We'll now proceed immediately to the ruling. Seems we will be able to report the... I hope I didn't lose. That smug little... We're just gonna auto... Okay. What? Wait! Your Excellency! Ryunosuke. I don't think you can rule on this case yet. Amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. It's the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. Oh, jerk. Blatant straw crunching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the woman was carrying in the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective had not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information on this handbag. From this handbag. The prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. What? I feel like I put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by the response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So take another look at this photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. Identify the court where print significant detail in what you've alluded. Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Gasp! Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with this magnificent lady's handbag. My microphone just fell, damn it. Sorry. Ah, 1 second. Technical difficulties all around. Oh my gosh. 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My microphone has been drooping a bit lately, and it just fell down, so... Okay. Nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't show it noted in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea what the victim suffered the burn, do we? No possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Alchi points out, unless a firm connection to this case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the dean and the other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to get his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn has something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, counsel. You can't possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid without evidence I can't allow you to pursue what little is more than a conjecture. But if we had evidence that is irrefutably linked to the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. No, that's not it. See, I got the burn. Whoa! It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. Sure then. The defense will now present its evidence to the court. Evidence demonstrates it's right here. Right there. Oh. What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe the photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would really be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How? Oh. Go away, dude. I'm busy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. The photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn. It's right here. The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Ah! Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of Le Carnaval. Ah! The emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. But even if that is the case, we can't know if this happened on the day in question or not. Could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened some other time, on some other unrelated time. Well, Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, and the defense just pointed out. That was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter at the Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga has never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds on that day, That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Well, yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... well, he couldn't have been deceased already. Maybe? No, he couldn't have been asleep. He wouldn't be... okay, so it wouldn't have been the burn. He wouldn't have been asleep. Because if he was... So... He was already dead. Ha-ha! No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting... Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already
dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness!
Madness? This is Sparta! Sorry. Order, please, counsel, please explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy of the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly unlikely that Miss Brett knows something about it. I almost made that complete opposite sentence. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way. That's the only way you're going to get to Capone. Sorry. Sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But, Your Excellency...
The justice system of our country may be in its infancy. But rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass this judgment. Pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Oh, is she going to speak? What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all.
But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible.
Ooh, I don't like her.
But it seems that men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you on your own level.
Oh, well... You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about these events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. Witness testimony. Okay, cool. Victim's death.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no possible cause of death besides gunshot. If there's some way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably won't pick up on it anyway.
That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it.
I hope this is the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all, not at all. It's a delight to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment available. Amen.
Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer, then? Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett. And put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed this little bully of a student, as you put it. Doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel. This will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with his testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay. Victim's death. But his hand was on a searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed.
Do you think so? Let me ask you something.
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you?
Huh? What? Ah!
Haha, what fun! You hadn't realized.
The dear lady is absolutely right.
As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me?
Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
Oh, yes, I think my tiny brain can.
Well, I can't. Anyway.
When the waiter brought me my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water. Is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although... Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Well, there was only one here. Oh, never mind. 2 glasses. I'm dumb.
Damn you.
I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of all those in the court, it means bless you.
Dumbass.
I think it means the exact opposite.
Anyway.
As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report shows no other possible death besides a gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably won't pick up on it anyway.
Wait a second. Inferior. What do you mean by that?
In the lands of Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. The Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes on a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to you naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand.
Haha, killer blow. The lady is formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There wasn't a moment before when something didn't seem quite right.
What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If I might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burst. Nope. Inferior. Oh, is it going to tell me the same thing? Ah! Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? Oh, the moment we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. Oh. But by moving the marker left and right, you can turn your attention to the people in the stand. Other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you can catch the person at the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people that stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker and focus on the detective. And pursue, and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Exactly, which means it even to the investigation.
Yeah! What's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts, deeply. It looked like you were thinking of something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady said next to you, and lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
What's the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. You can't falter over their testimony, and cross-examination should be over immediately.
Is that how it works? Absolutely not.
Hmm?
The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hoshinaga. Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Huh? Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Okay. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor.
Unfortunately, I have no idea what the poor man burnt his wrist like that. The waiter brought my steak. The professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
What if he is poisoned? Could have been poisoned with the water. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Aha! Ha! I could be a lawyer. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order, order, order! And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you!
This is outrageous. To suggest that such a thing would be without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile, have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed a accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
If I may.
I will silence you forever for this disgrace on the...
Shut up! It is you who should be silent.
Of course. Dear lady.
Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid that I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe.
Drax, what are you meowing at, bro?
The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not.
Of course.
You did?
Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already?
I strive for a flawless investigation every time.
I don't believe it.
Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents.
And? What did you find, Inspector?
I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency.
What? Are you sure?
The tests were meticulously carried out by Chief Coroner himself. By the Chief Coroner.
No. No!
Did I mess something up?
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned.
Thank you, counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution has asserted, the shot from the chest is only the cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding the weapon, is the only possible culprit.
I'm done for.
The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience it caused you, Miss Brett.
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point?
Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more.
Excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hadouken! That's what I would do. It's a headband.
Hold it!
I like her.
Please, I wait!
Isn't that... What's the meaning of this?
Forgive me for interrupting on the court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikatoba, assistant to the defense.
Mikatoba.
Hold it.
That's how she said it.
Hold it.
In her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a buroshiki cloth.
Oh, hey! To be continued.
Awesome.
Awesome possum. This is fun. Really having fun being these characters. Having fun doing this game. I'm honestly really, really excited to be playing it, and I'm really happy with it, and I'm fully invested, and I'm excited. I can't wait to get further on with it, and I fixed my microphone, and everything's great. Thanks for watching. I'm here. If you guys want to watch something else, let me know. I'll play another game I got.